Greetings, free thinkers. Welcome to the Hoggcast. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing fine. I certainly am. Okay, what do we have for you on today's episode? Have you one clip to watch and a Twitter thread. It's in regards to the Metropolitan Police and their ridiculous double standards. The two-tier system of justice we're now seeing across the Western Hemisphere, which is been starkly, profoundly demonstrated with how the left-wing alliance of Palestinian supporters, middle-class, wokey leftist types, and so on and so on, have came out for these never-ending protests in London, in which they're drawn towards our war memorials. They want to jump on them, they urinate on them, they spit on them, they climb all over them and wave their own country's flags, even though they claim to have fled from these countries because of, this and that, but they have allegiance to them and not us. Okay. Now, Suella Braverman was fired about a couple of days ago. She was I say Conservative. The Conservative Party in the United Kingdom are CINOs, C-I-N-O, Conservative in name only. In America, for my American viewers, I'm sure you're well aware of the term Rhino, R-N-I-O, Republican in name only. It's the same, it has the same energy, they're cut from the same cloth. Well, Suella Braverman was an outsider who brought attention to the double standards, the two-tier system of justice. For example, when white working class people came out on Remembrance Day to go to the cenotaph to protect it, the same police who stood there and were just letting these guys fire fireworks at them, to disrespect them, to damage property, to do all of these things. The Met Police just stood there. Well, with the white working class people, they hit them on the head with batons, they knocked them to the ground, people were bleeding, because it's seen as okay to do that to white working class people, whereas they're petrified of Islam, essentially, and the Met Police is completely corrupted, right, by the woke of mind virus. So that's the context. So we have this clip. This is the Royal Artillery Memorial. It's another one in London. We had another memorial. The police made 0 arrests. The level of disrespect is incredible because they were climbing all over it and desecrating it and things like that, spitting on it. Look at where they climb onto at the end. We'll watch it in a second. I feel sad for my country. This needs to stop now. The police do nothing, right? This is exactly the type of thing Suella Braverman was calling out, okay? And they fired her for it. So we will watch the clip and then I will show you the Twitter thread from the Metropolitan Police, because they are twisting themselves into knots, trying desperately to appease these people, right? It's just, you have to see it for yourself. So we'll get into it now. If you haven't yet though, please like the video, subscribe to the Hoggcast, hit the notification bell, share the video. That's important because I am shadow banned and deboosted. Okay, let's go. Okay, the clip, it's not too long. Let's take a look.
We just wanna... Brother, keep respect. Yeah, he is what he does. Nothing. I bro.
Unbelievable. So this is a memorial to the people who gave their lives, including my great grandfather, who in both the First and Second World Wars, they gave our lives so we could have the type of society that I'm sure you can remember in the second half of the 20th century. Do you remember when Western civilization peaked? I'm talking 70s, 80s, 1990s especially. That was the best decade as far as I'm concerned. All of those decades had their problems, okay? But the country was united and it had a soul, a spirit, a direction that we've lost. And it's the same across the Western Hemisphere. Now, these people, they are drawn, the left-wing hollow alliance are drawn to our war memorials. So, do you ever ask yourself why they do this? Why do they need to... London's a big city. They could go anywhere, any building, any place, but they always choose our war memorials. They're doing it to humiliate us, to show that we can do what we want. We're going to trample all over your places of heritage and so on and so on. In a way that if you did this to a mosque, if you went onto a mosque's roof and started waving a Union Jack, what do you think the response would be? Okay, I'm going to bring that point up again in a minute. So this is the clip. Now let's take a look at the Met Police's response to this and how they twist themselves to try to get out of doing anything. Take a look. Okay, so that was the clip I showed you. So the Met Police responded with, "It's deeply disrespectful to climb on a war memorial." Thank you, right? It is. So why do they keep doing it? Yeah, with your own words, you condemn your own position because you are backhanded admitting that they are deliberately trying to disrespect us. Right? Yeah, I don't think they were intending to make that point, but they did, right? So they continue, but there's no law making it illegal. There is, but wait a second. In the absence of a law officers cannot automatically arrest, but they can intervene and make it clear the behaviour isn't acceptable. No. That's what they're seen doing here in this video. That's the Metropolitan Police, the actual Metropolitan. Do you see how they twist themselves up? So keep this energy, this vibe in mind. So let's say if a group of right-wing people went to a mosque or somewhere and they covered up the star and the moon and stars, yeah, or they did something like that, and just clambered all over it. Do you think they would have the same energy of that? Of course not. You know that. And so the replies, Charles Thyme says, "It's only bad to climb on war memorials if you wear a Union Jack." Correct. Remember, this is the same police force that were beating white working class people for just trying to get to the cenotaph. They cut all their heads open and everything. It's the same police force who during the pandemic trampled an old white woman down. Do you remember that clip in which they used horses and they smashed through people with horses? Meanwhile, at the same time, BLM were pillaging all over the city, all over the Western Hemisphere, in London, Paris, obviously in America. And then they took the knee. They literally bent the knee, which is a sign in all civilizations of submission. When you bend the knee, you submit. This is what, look, Suella Braverman. This is what Suella Braverman was talking about. And it's obvious to see, right? It is obvious. So Callie says, Suella Braverman was spot on with her two-tier policing comment. It would be interesting to see what at James Cleverly has to say, if anything. Of course he will say nothing. Well done, Plod. Another appalling insult to our war dead, green-lighted by your pitiful excuse for police officers, yeah. You clearly have no respect for the UK, the average British taxpayer, or our fallen heroes. What did all of those men die for? In WW2, but especially WW1, in which whole towns of menfolk were just obliterated. Tell me what they died for. So people who turned up illegally here, who hate us, hate everything about us, can climb all over there and desecrate their war memorials. Tom Bright says, utterly disgusting. Bex, it's beyond a joke. The police are inept and basically assisting them. Yes, thank you. Don't any of these people have jobs to go to? Daily Woke Insights. This is absolutely disgraceful and the police don't appear particularly concerned. What they're concerned about is appeasing them, because they can see that, as we all know, Muslims are a strong community. They bind together. So if there's 100,000 people in London marching, then that's essentially a 100,000 strong army. And the British police, what they want to do is they want to avoid optics where it shows them treating Muslims the same way they were treating the white working class. You know, when they were hitting them on the heads with batons. They don't want that, right? So they will appease and appease and appease. Doesn't matter how many people that look like you and me fall victim to it, they'll just keep going. So yeah, as Tony says, hundreds of thousands of people who hate us, our history and traditions, they have no intention of integrating. Correct. Policemen are so weak. Please come down, sir. They are. They've become just... And everyone can see it, how weak they've become. And me pointing that out, they'll probably come for me now, because you're not supposed to notice things, are you? A complete failure. You value nothing. You protect nothing, says Paul. You are the enemy of decent, law-abiding people. Yes. Which piece of legislation would be used to arrest anyone? No one wants people climbing on statues and monuments, agreed. But there is not a law that prevents it, or is a criminal offence doing so. Actually, that's where you're wrong. I did see... Let's see if I can find it. So it says criminal damage, breach of the peace, public nuisance. From that clip, none of those offences apply. Well, these two obviously do. Breach of the peace and public nuisance. Yeah, so here's Billboard Chris. I like Billboard Chris. What a bunch of fools you are. You show up at a woman's home when they misgender someone, yes. You tell me I'm breaching the peace for standing peacefully while some pro-Palestinian woman screams and pokes a flag stick in my face. Yeah, I saw that. It's a perfect example of the situation at hand here, right? You could have like 100 people attacking you and getting really like agitated around you, and the Met Police will deal with you, the one person, because they want to appease the 100. This is getting to the core of what's wrong with Western policing in the woke era. It's about appeasement. It's not about if you've done anything right or wrong. It's about who you are, right? If it's about what you are, yeah? So if you're white working class, it's fair game. If you are a Muslim who's a part of a 100,000 strong protest march, then you're okay, we'll leave you alone, because it's harder to deal with them and it's easier to deal with the white working class, okay? So that's why you and me bear the brunt of it. But now you suddenly become powerless when people who hate your country climb on your war memorials. So Dixie Lee says, how many ex-servicemen would be happy to take on the defence of our cenotaph? Many, but if they turned up there to defend it, these same police officers who are bending over backwards to not arrest those people who climb on it would immediately arrest those who want to defend it. Geordie Girl says, I can't believe what's been allowed to take place in this great country when the police are no longer on the side of the decent law-abiding citizens. See, everyone can see it. Everyone. I like this here. So, Eyes Align has took that and then put this on it. Crimes that have led to arrests in the UK. Posting an alphabet mafia meme online. Making jokes online. Praying and preaching on the street while Christian. That's happened multiple times. You're not allowed to do that. If he was Muslim, it would be okay, but a Christian, no. Autistic girl saying that a police officer looks like her alphabet auntie. That was disgraceful, that was. Flying a British flag in public, yeah. If you can fly the Israeli or the Palestinian flag all day long. If you put up a Union Jack, the police will just rush at you. Climbing statues whilst white, yeah, again, if you're white, you can't do that. Things that don't lead to your arrest. Screaming and verbally tackling police officers while dressed in Palestine flags and face masks. Chanting bad things to happen to the Hebrews and the like. Setting mice coloured in... they spray painted the mice, didn't they? And they threw them in a McDonald's. Intimidating people in places like Pret a Manger and Starbucks and the like. Ripping down Israeli flags. defacing memorials, non-Christians playing in the streets, perfectly fine, swarming on number 10 Downing Street, intimidating Remembrance Day poppy sellers. Yeah, I saw that. Just old women, the type that you've always had, old women with their little pot and the poppy sellers, just getting disrespected so flagrantly. So it continues like this. It continues in the same vein. So yeah, I think that's kind of like an old own goal there. It's deeply disrespectful to climb on a war memorial. Yeah, no shit. But they're doing it on purpose. This is what I mean. Have you noticed they always make a beeline for your war memorials? Here, this is what I'm talking about. So Turning Point UK points out that this crime, public order offence, if they were right-wingers, they'd be in cuffs. They would be. You can manufacture charges all of the time for certain people, yet when it comes to cultural vandals, no crime has been committed. You are liars and ineffective. Yeah, it's as this guy says. So if I climb on their building and wave the cross of St. George, is that okay? Oh, no, no, no. And it continues in the same vein. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about the Metropolitan Police. I'm sure I'd love to hear that. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.